I want to discuss a bit more and take you back to what you mentioned because I actually wrote it down. You said the affiliate space in India is approached with the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
That is quite a statement, and I would like to stress on that because obviously our listeners, our viewers would want to understand the Indian market itself a bit further, a bit more in depth. What are the main misconceptions do you think that affiliate marketers or our friends in the industry and people that want to start in affiliate marketing? What are the main misconceptions of working with the Indian market, Indian space, in regards to affiliate marketing, Gaurav?
Yeah. I think the first biggest misconception is that Indian people don't have the spending ability. But as I mentioned, that India right now is doing 26 times more digital payments than the United States of America. I think that proves that statement. Another
Right.
thing that is a misconception with the affiliate marketers and my fellow friends is the vernacular usage that is being done. Now, India is a huge country, geography wise and population wise. And to be very honest, the language and the culture and the user mindset and the user behavior changes every 100 miles or so, every few 100 miles, if I don't exaggerate it. Now, what I've seen is whenever a user or an affiliate is trying to target the Indian industry, they would go all Hindi on the users. Hindi is the one of the languages spoken in India, and I've seen people who create pre-landers or they offer pages that are in Hindi. But it would be surprising to know to some of my friends who are outside India that Hindi is just one of the few languages that is spoken in India. Although it is widely accepted, but not a lot of people, and it is widely spoken, but not a lot of people know how to read Hindi. So that again is one failure. Um I think what I really do when I promote campaigns in India is that I know for a fact that whatever language you speak, English is one language that people understand. If not fully, if they're not able to speak fully, they understand important parts of it. So the
Right.
language that I speak is not English, is not Hindi. The language that I speak is Hinglish. It is a mixture of Hindi and English. So even if you're creating pages in English, that's what I do. I always create a page first in English, and I would make the UI and UX in such a way that the important parts are always highlighted. And I use important terms that people understand. I don't make pages in Hindi to start with, or I don't make pages completely in very fluent English. If I'm promoting a health product, I would use terms as health insurance, the amount that you have to pay, the month will be
Right.
highlighted. So people would understand what you're telling and people would understand the gist of it. You have to use your call to actions properly. Maybe make the users understand through an emoji that this is where the users have to click. So I think that approach has to be there. You have to go vernacular only. I believe that you have to go vernacular only when you're scaling, or for a certain
Right.
type of products. Like for example, you cannot expect Tinder to go vernacular because it targets the younger audience, and the younger audience in tier 3 as well already speak English, they know how to read English. However,
Definitely.
if you are a news website and you are promoting a hyperlocal and you are telecasting a hyperlocal news that is about a certain society in a certain city, you have to go hyperlocal. Otherwise, most of the uh, elderly people who want to read it would not be able to read it because they don't know how to read English, maybe. So going vernacular is again one mistake that people really do in India. I think it's required only when you have that product and when you're scaling, and not just required to go Hindi or Marathi as soon as you start the campaign because people travel a lot in India. There will be people from Mumbai who will be working in Delhi, so there's no need for them to show them Hindi. It's required to go vernacular only when it's required to go vernacular, when your product demands it, and not just promoting any product that is not required to go that way.
Right. So initially, for affiliate marketers, it would definitely be a lot easier for them, right? Because with this misconception, a lot of affiliate marketers would definitely translate all of their text in English to different languages in India, right? I mean, apparently, or obviously using Google Translator, which is not that efficient or not that correct
Yes.
when it comes to translations. So that's one thing. But it's definitely quite an interesting outlook of it that the country itself, as you said, the younger generation, or let's say the working force, the younger working force, definitely is. If we could define it, would you say that they have a better educational background in this case?
So see, India is a young country, as I mentioned. Uh, Education system was not very strong, is still not very strong, especially in the tier three cities. But with the rise of social media, people have now started to understand the important words. So it's not necessary that you create a page, people will understand the entire sentence. That is where I laid the part wherein you have to emphasize on important words rather than important sentence so that the user
Right.
understands it. So even the education system in tier one and tier two has really improved over the years. People have adopted English is widely spoken in India. It's another misconception that Indian majority of the Indians don't know how to speak English. But I'm sure Rohit speaks three different languages, two to three different languages. I speak two to three different languages. The common connecting factor is English with us. If I meet a person from one state and I meet the person, the common factor and the comfort is with English. So yes, younger audience, not only because of the educational changes, but with the rise of social media and globalization as a whole. Because on social media, you're chatting with people outside of India, and you're talking to people outside of, different parts of the world. English is the connecting factor. So that is where the difference comes in, and that is where the younger generation, especially the ones who have in tier three, who we perceive might not have the best of educational background, but since they have access to a cheap smartphone and fast data connection, they know how to understand the words or understand the sentence. Even if they're not able to speak English fluently, they'd be able to communicate with you. So yes, educational background is not the only aspect. There are a lot of different things that have catalyzed the usage of English in India.
I actually have a different perspective on that. I think that the Indian population, and the educational system has always been a priority, in my opinion. I mean, we do see, even the older generations of Indians, even in the country, and of course, immigration is a big part of the country. I think we all agree on that, right?
Yes.
We have Indians everywhere, and also like smart minds and very corporate wise. Really a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people from different companies, global companies, corporations that are being run, by Indians in a sense. But I guess I want to stress on the fact that social media, as you said, definitely provided more penetration, more valuable get into for the audience, or for the Indian audience, especially as you said in tier two, tier three regions, to have more access to opportunities. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, I think it is true. But the people who who go outside of India to work or to get settle down outside India, uh, already maybe come from a background wherein they can afford to do that,
Right.
financially or culturally. There are a lot of people in tier three that I want to stress upon. Tier one and tier two, I think is solid. People know how to communicate or how to read or write. Tier three is a bit of a problem where education is also lacking. I think that is where social media has come into play, or if I can say the younger generation, globalization and the approach to become cooler maybe or to talk to people outside of India has also played a role wherein people have started to understand that and Indians do that. I don't see that in a lot of other countries, but in India, if you speak English properly, you're already up the umbrella in a certain way.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's also a factor wherein right from the very young age, the parents have started emphasizing on the fact that we don't care if our kid understands or speaks his regional language properly, but English is the language that has to be the primary one. And a lot of schools have also now started emphasizing on the fact that English has to be a primary language, because again, that opens the door globally for you. If you speak only a regional language, you are stuck to that city and not
Right.
even India as a whole. But if you can speak English, it opens up the doors for you globally.
And also when it comes to, as I said, with content and with the departure of TikTok in the country, that on its own really brought in so many such apps, short video apps that have boomed, and also because of the pandemic and even post pandemic are still seeing quite a great intense amount of of trend, I would say, and demand in the country itself. And do you think? And I'll take this to Rohit as well. Rohit, do you think that with the rise of such social TikTok apps, replicas, I would say, right? Do you guys see any opportunity for such apps to become super apps at some point? You're on mute, I guess, right?
I'm extremely sorry about that. Yes, I think yeah, almost all the apps that has come up post the ban of TikTok, exit of TikTok. You can name one which is the exact replica would be Moj, and I can even say Instagram Reels. I mean even they picked up in the country post the ban of TikTok. Till then it was only TikTok. TikTok was a revolution over here. But of course, yes, post TikTok moving and Rails have picked up well, Moj has picked up well. ShareChat, I mean ShareChat again, is another company which benefited out of the exit of TikTok. But the concept of ShareChat is completely different. I mean, as we spoke about vernacular, right? I mean regional content. So ShareChat relies more on the regional content. So, for example, they are present in 15 languages, and each state, the entire platform is in the language of that state. It's vernacular, it's completely vernacular, and they are actually monetizing it. I think yes. I mean, these apps do have features, and especially because of the rise in influencer marketing. I mean, you have social media influencers, and
Right,
they
absolutely.
really influence a lot of brands. I mean, so rise of influencers, the rise of the change in trend of the large format video to short video formats. I mean, I think is really going to benefit these apps, and I think they are going to like actually change the entire mindset, change the way like people think, and they've already like been doing that. I mean, change the way the way the content is perceived amongst the consumers, right? I
Right.
mean, so there is a change, and they are doing pretty well, and that's basically because of the mindset, and they actually completely rely on the trend, the more going trend, in the industry in terms of the advertising.
The reason why I asked this question, Gaurav, is I stumbled upon an app that is functioning in the Philippines. It's called Kumu. It started as a content app, like like short videos and people like sharing their like I don't know, whatever talent they have on the app itself. At some point, it turned into an e-commerce app, and then they probably have plans to expand it into like different other incorporations of different services. I would compare it to something that Paytm is doing or PhonePe is doing in the country in India. So, do you guys see a space there in terms of such apps or such brands to diversify themselves further and have further growth in the country?
There obviously has to be a way for them to monetize.
Right.
Right now, what they're doing is they're spending a lot of money on the servers because there's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of cost involved in it when it comes to marketing and all that stuff. So there's a need for them to start monetizing. 2023 is going to be the year where possibly we would see these short video apps in India being starting to monetize their traffic through ads or however way. But I believe, especially in India, a lot of people, now this is completely my perspective. A lot
Right.
of people in the on the short video apps are younger generation uh, and super younger generation, which might not have that amount of spending ability. right now. So creating an e-commerce marketplace or something wherein they have to transact, I think that's a really tough road to go. But yes, I think that they can possibly convert it into a creators economy, wherein the content. I mean, these guys start doing something that is affordable by the content creators and start paying them as well.
Right.
In a way, start making money through ads, through advertisers. So I think the first change that we're going to see is through advertisements, and that will be again interesting to see how much the advertisers are going to spend, what are the exact demographics of those applications, because if those demographics are under 21 of school or college going students, I think it's not going to do much, and it'll be a bad news for the application owners. But I think if the audience is wider, the demographics are wider, I think they're going to start with advertisements first, and then they're going to develop into something that is adopted easier by the Indian audience, and not just throw an e-commerce product or e-commerce website on their face. Because you have to also understand that establishing or starting an e-commerce brand in India is also not very easy. So I don't see e-commerce being integrated there, but I see a lot of other stuff like incentivization, wherein the user would be incentivized to possibly watch it, and eventually the advertiser would be paid some money, something that does not have to do with transacting online,
Right. Right.
necessarily hard transacting online. But I think incentivization through which the advertiser and the end influencer makes money. I think they have to find a balance there. So they really have to be innovative there. But I don't find hard transactions being done on these short video apps anytime soon.
Got you.
Gaurav,
Got you.
I have a small question, that I wanted to ask. Going forward, I mean, in 2023, like, what do you think, are going to be the offers, or what do you think are going to be the verticals, which would actually, like, be a game changer? I can say, be a game changer, or which is actually, going to spend a lot, or what are the emerging verticals, from India, emerging verticals you see that that would emerge out of India, and that even might go globally.
As I've stressed, I don't think fintech slowing down anytime soon. It's only going to grow. So fintech, yes, I think is the strongest vertical at this point in time. It has been in the year 2022. I think it will continue to be in the year of 2023. So fintech is one that we really have to look for. I think insurance is going to increase as well, because right now insurers have only been able to penetrate the tier one industry and a part of tier two and tier three. But there's a lot of scope with insurers as well. And as the word of mouth floats around, as the government encourages people to buy insurances, and as people see that why are others getting insured, I think insurance is one vertical that we really have to look forward to. One vertical that I really see growing again is the hyperlocal marketplaces. Uh, Simple marketplaces, as we mentioned, like pets or home decor, because home decor is one that has grown after the pandemic. People have been spending time at homes, and now they have the need to decorate their home. So that is one area. I think hyperlocal marketplaces is one that I see really growing after this. One specific industry that I really see growing is fulfillment services, because right now e-commerce fulfillment in India is crude. Anyone who's able to fulfill that gap between the end user and the person who's the product owner, I think that will be a real game changer in the space. But I don't see that really coming into effect in 2023. But I think it'll
I
start to
think
pick up pace.
I think Zepto has done a pretty good job. Like, I mean, they've yet to, I mean, go pan India, but
Yeah.
in Bangalore, the fulfillment service, I think, one of the player, like, who's really made a difference is Zepto. I mean, they're doing pretty good in terms of, the offers and the delivery speed.
Yeah,
So I think,
but the whole intention is to go pan India, and not only pan India, into deeper, say for example, possibly town level, wherein a lot of So I don't know if Renz knows or the audience knows this or not. A lot of products in India are returned because the shipping guy is not able to reach the house, even if he has the address. So sometimes it's also becomes very difficult to, get where the person is located. So any fulfillment services that's using proper AI, or I don't know how they design it, but anyone who's able to fill this gap, I think will blow out of proportion.
Is there a service that kind of solves that issue though, or the companies that actually deliver, need to step it up?
Yes, there are services now that are starting to do it, but there's no foolproof way that they're able to do it. See, I live in a tier one city. It's very easy for me to send a product from one place to another, and there may be
Right.
challenges in tier three cities or tier three towns that we don't even know of. Since I've been reading it online, since this is a problem of fulfillment, I think that is a problem. And not only fulfillment is a problem, but the rate at which the order is fulfilled is a problem. Because when you're working in a country like India, wherein you have to give out discounts and the price of the product has to be cheap, and maybe you're selling high quality product, your margins are really low. So you don't really want any fulfillment service to ask for something that is really high. So the fulfillment service has to be in such a way that it also is allows the advertiser's pocket to onboard them. So there are a lot of aspects associated with it. Right now, the fulfillment services or the logistic services that are present charge higher. So, for example, if I want to send a package from one place to another, I believe as an end user, the price is really high. If someone is able to bring it down, and especially to the level of tier three towns, I think it's a game changer.
That's amazing. I mean, with your insights, it really is very apparent that there are so many opportunities and so many, even startups that actually, provide solutions for everyday issues or problems. I think this is just the beginning.
Yes, I think
No, I
artificial intelligence and machine learning are the biggest things. As you mentioned, any startup who's working on it and is able to solve a problem in Indian ecosystem that can be related to anything. If you're able
right.
to solve a problem, you are close to making yourself a unicorn.
That's all right. I mean, you mentioned also about the fintech, insurance. What other types of offers do you see will be trending moving ahead to Q1 and further on in 2023?
I think with Play Store giving the acceptance to gaming advertisers, gaming might see an increase with more penetration in the users. Uh, I think short video apps will continue to grow. EdTech is one space which I personally feel is not although it's been used by a lot of people, it's not widely appreciated by a lot of people. So if edtech industry is going to bring in a change in India, I think edtech is one space that will really bring a lot of will be a lot trending in India. So yes, these are some of the more industries that I see growing, and I think then there come smaller hyper local things. Like you can make there are people who make juice, fresh juice, and make a $1 million company out of it with their ideas. We've seen that in Shark Tank, which was recently aired in India. So I think opportunities are huge. Anywhere that you're solving a problem in India, you're making yourself a lot of money.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, so far we definitely have heard a lot of interesting insights from you. And um, one last thing from me before I take it back to Rohit. You mentioned about Google Play Store, right?
Yes.
It has been a huge, huge industry, and there are dedicated ad networks and companies that are focused on app advertising, right?
Yeah.
Where do you see it headed? Do you think, for example, with the rise and the boom of apologies of TikTok-like apps, like short video apps, utility apps, I see a lot of VPNs in the country as well. With this trend, do you see any other type of offers that could utilize the current trends in India?
Interesting fact that you mentioned VPN. Again, VPN, just a short fact, VPN was, as per what I've read, VPN was primarily started being used by Indians after the porn ban. Just for FYR, porn was banned in India.
I'm sorry. Say
Through
what? Say what? There was a
pornography,
porn.
watching pornography, yeah.
Pornography.
Uh,
Oh,
that was banned in India a few years back. I think that really triggered the usage of VPNs. And not only that, people are now getting educated about the privacy issues and the security issues, and VPN kinds of, to some extent, solves it. So VPN had acceptance in India. One more thing, because B2B, I'm sorry, D2C segment is growing in India in e-commerce. One segment that really grow is B2B services. Because now, if I have a shop in India and I want to take it digitally, I would need a domain name, I would need server and all that stuff. I would need a website builder. So all these services will also, B2B services that provide the creation of a business online would also grow in India. They have been seeing that trend. They'll continue to do so. And yes, applications have always been a part of mobile phones, because we have to understand one thing, that West was a desktop first generation. Uh,
right.
in US, people started using desktop first because before mobile phones or smartphones came into existence. Indians straight away started using mobile phones. There were not a lot of people that had access to a wide, I would say, a wide amount of people did not have access to desktop before they started using the mobile phone. So applications, yes, is a very integral part if they're available on Google Play. I think especially gaming, VPNs, and free or freemium apps. I think that they're going to see a boost soon. They've already been seeing a boost. I'm sure at PropellerAds also you would have seen a lot of social media, and not only those couple of brands that we mentioned. A lot of them would be advertising in that space, and I'm sure they'll continue to do so to increase the user penetration in India.
And I think that is why Tinder is rocking it in India.
Yeah. And there's one more thing, because India is very new to mobile phones as well. There was a trend in the West wherein people would download cleaner boosters and all those kinds of
Right.
apps that work on push
Right.
and pops and possibly native. These are really booming in India, because we right now don't know if how they're monetizing it, but since they're giving it away for free, they might be using some kind of information. Now, people in West are educated about it. People in India are not. So I've seen a lot of people promoting cleaner boosters, free VPNs, and all that kind of stuff in India through app stores and through Play Store, which is really possibly one of the highest vertical, if I'm not wrong, in India in push and pop.
Okay.
Well, I guess
Uh,
they're monetizing those apps like cleaners and everything else. The way that they would monetize them is through ads in this
Yeah.
case, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
right now I see them doing it through ads, but I'm very sure that if at all I'm not very sure if at all they're using some kind of user data to do something else as well, because you have all kinds of information. They take all kinds of permissions from you before you download the application, so you don't really know what kind of information, how the information is being used at the back end. Hopefully, they're not doing anything shady, but I've seen a lot of offers that might also do. And that is why the Indian government triggered a lot of bans on the application. That was not because of any conflict, that was majorly because of the security reasons.
But don't you
Perfect.
think that Google Play Store or different other app stores are enforcing measures to combat this?
They are, but you can always chip in. Google Play Store
That's
will allow
true.
you until a point wherein Google Play Store does not find out that you're doing anything shady. The moment they find it, they'll ban you, and you can come up with another application with the same kind of code, just tweaked a bit so that Google does not find out and you run again. So it's not that
That's
Google Play Store is 100% foolproof. There are always chances to slip in code that might not be very useful to you. TikTok, for the matter of fact, has been accused of using a lot of information without users' permission. TikTok is a
Right.
widely famous, fastest growing app in the world. So there are always possibilities to do whatever you want to do if you're smart enough.
Let's put it right there. This is
Yes.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
All right.
true.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot of verticals that we discussed, a lot of good discussion that we had, and I think like we should keep having sessions like this, focusing on verticals, and then like I think it's good to share knowledge. But one last thing, like I would definitely want to ask you. I mean, you did speak about the ad format, that is widely used by the the cleaner apps and the other particular verticals in terms of which is I mean like push and pop. I would like to understand more on the traffic sources as well. I mean, what is the kind of traffic that these brands are looking for, and what other ad formats do you think like are relevant and brands do want it. I mean, we've spoken about verticals like fintech, which is going to be booming and which is really going to be the game changer. What do you think would be the traffic source they would be interested in? What do you think would be the ad formats that they would really want to work with?
That's a good
I
question.
think, yeah, I think since we've stressed upon the fact that in to enter India and to run a profitable business, it is important to do hyperlocal targeting. I believe that Google and Facebook is going to be still the dominant traffic channels that the advertisers and the affiliates are going to adopt. Except for that, I think one vertical that is really getting its space in the industry is micro influencers. It's not influencers anymore, wherein an influencer would have, say, 5 million or 10 million followers, and they would promote a Pepsi brand, or they would do a deal with the cricket team of India. It's not that anymore. You see a lot of micro influencers with a couple of thousands, or a couple of hundred thousands followers, only with a certain kind of niche audience that wants to listen to a certain kind of content. So I think micro influencers or nano influencers to that extent is one vertical that I think will really grow. When it comes to hyperlocal targeting, it's also interesting to see how Propeller Ads shapes up, because Propeller Ads has been introducing some kind of behavioral and user level targeting, demographics targeting on their platform, which I don't see other people have been doing when it comes to display space other than the social media apps. So it's also interesting to see how Propeller Ads targeting shapes up. But yes, I think these are the verticals that are we have to watch out for, are the influencer, micro influencer thing. But Google and Facebook, again, any day for a few years are going to be the dominant factors. One interesting aspect that we have to look out for is that Google primarily is text based, but they're moving to voice now. And we've been talking about how to handle vernacular space in India. And Indians, although they type in English, they have the browser language set as English, but they speak other languages. It'll be interesting to see how India adapts to that space as well when it
Oh,
comes
in
to
fact,
speech.
that was something I wanted to ask you next. I mean, the use of vernacular creatives. Do you think that it's necessary, and do you think it's actually going to make a lot of change for Propeller Ads as a company, as well as for the client when you talk about the ROI or the response that they would generate from the market using a vernacular language? How do you think a vernacular creative actually fits into the space of affiliate marketing?
One thing that traditionally the affiliates have been doing wrong, according to my perspective, is that they have been using vernacular creative depending on the region that the advertiser is targeting. I think that is very wrong, because a user sitting in Tamil Nadu, it's not necessary that he will not be able to speak English. Maybe the product that you're promoting requires it to be in English. So I think rather than the demographic, depending on the demographics, the user, or I mean the affiliate, should rely on the product that you're promoting. I personally am not a very big fan of vernacular targeting until and unless it is absolutely necessary for the product and the targeting that is required on the product level. For example, if I'm promoting a dating website, and I want users to deposit, or if I'm promoting gaming and I want users to deposit money into that, I would never go vernacular, because I know for a fact that the user has a phone, is playing that game in English, or the dating app is in English, he would be comfortable reading something in English. So there's no need to go vernacular and create a headache for yourself. But if a product is something that caters to an older audience, or something like Nutra, I think vernacular there is important. So it's important to see the user that you're targeting, rather, and the product that you have in hand, rather than checking the regions. So I think usage of vernacular is required only when you're targeting a certain section of people that you believe have the need to target, have the need to target in vernacular languages, and not just go all Hindi languages on Indian people. So yes,
I think it's
product
really,
is very
really
important.
good. It's really, really good that we're stressing out and highlighting this part of our conversation, because most of the questions that we have received in terms of targeting India, in terms of the best targeting strategies, localization does come up, and vernacular and everything else, and of course in terms of different ad formats. And I want to follow up on what Rohit mentioned in terms of trending ad formats and traffic types. Do you see, with, I would say, the decline of Facebook, but it's still being targeted heavily by a lot of advertisers, right?
Yeah.
Where do you think advertisers would diversify themselves? I mean, obviously, a lot are heading towards TikTok and all of these apps, right? But if we're talking about, different other ad formats or traffic sources, where do you think that affiliate marketers should focus their time onto in making their money's worth when it comes to return of investment?
So Facebook, yes, has been a problem, and unfortunately, targeting Indian audience is not possible on TikTok, because TikTok does not exist. I understand that in US, the problems that Meta has been having have been countered
Right.
to a lot of extent. So I think a lot of problems that were being faced by the US affiliate marketers who were targeting US audiences have been catered by TikTok to some extent. But in India, that's not an option with the users and the affiliates. And unfortunately, Facebook is the thing on display that they have to use somehow, some way or the other. And I think the audience is so wide that it's still possible. There are not too much problems as people are facing in the West, because with Facebook, the CPCs are also lower, and where you have the option to target and the CPCs are higher, you are actually hyper targeting. So that will also give you the money back. But anyone who's moving out of Facebook, I've seen a lot of trend that people have been moving to simpler sources that have lower um, um, uh, regulations and problems with creative, and the product is native and push. So these are the sources of display channels wherein I've seen that people and the advertisers have fallen back to, for simplicity and for longer run, because Facebook bans your account every second day. That is
Right.
not the problem with native. That is not the problem with push. But yes, the adaptation will take a bit of time, because push does not work, or native does not work the way Facebook does. So getting adapted, getting used to, getting to know the CPCs and your EPCs is important. Once the advertisers find a winning product and are able to get to it, I think that is where the real game changing thing will come in, and people might slowly move out of Facebook and the compliance problems that they've been facing, and they'll spend more on other display channels. But except for that, banner ads are traditionally doing well, and except for GDN, also there are a lot of in-app and banner spaces available that advertisers are exploring. So yes, the fall of Facebook has been there, but I don't think it's been that big of an impact right
Right.
now with affiliate marketing perspective.
And well, you know, um, just a fun insight from your side. You've used push notifications, right?
Yes, I have.
So, a very tough question. I'm kidding. If you've been using push notifications, would you mind sharing to our audience what kind of offers you've been running or you've ran in the past that were could potentially be quite beneficial or seeing quite the great performance by utilizing push notifications? What kind of verticals or what kind of offers have you ran yourself?
Okay, since I've had a very good relationship with PropellerAds, and I think it's also out a bit in the affiliate domain on a couple of forums. Um, Tier 3 mini loans in Southeast of Asia have been doing really well. What I personally do is I don't go with where the competition is. I try to find my own pockets. So I run a lot of tier three countries. I run a lot of Nigeria. I run a lot of populous tier three regions like
Right.
Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya in Africa, and then Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, all these Indonesia, all these places in the southeast of Asia. So cleaners have been doing good in Southeast of Asia. Mobile content has been doing really well in Africa and
Right.
countries like Thailand. Many loans, I think anyone who wants to start their affiliate marketing journey and who wants to grow in their affiliate journey and wants the simplicity and not a lot of headache with them. I think many loans in Southeast of Asia is one vertical where you should get in with, although it's a different language, because Indonesia, Vietnam, all these countries have different languages, so translation might be a little difficult. But hire a person who would translate your creative for you, make good creative, and those campaigns are really scalable. The countries are cheap, the CPCs are cheap, and I think the the money that you can make is endless.
Just just a disclaimer. Gaurav is not being paid for this podcast and the information that he's sharing. So this is all coming from a genuine place, you guys. So make sure to note
Unfortunately,
everything down.
unfortunately not.
Make sure to note everything he says. I mean, save this podcast episode, listen to it over and over again. But kidding aside, Gaurav, what are we expecting for 2023? What else are we expecting in 2023 that would, provide our audience more insights on where to focus on to, right? Not just in terms of verticals, not just in terms of offers, but seasonality wise. We're seeing IPL, I
Yeah,
believe, at some point, right? So,
yeah.
what else are we seeing that's going to boom?
So I would break it down by quarter. Tier one, which we also call tier four in India, which is January to March, is March is the financial year closing in India. So from January to March, you would see a lot of fintech rising because people have to file their taxes, and there are a lot of insurances that are bought. There are a lot of other investments that are done. So till March, focus on investments and insurance offers. Uh, I think April and May is also academic year starting. Education is one vertical that the affiliates can also focus on. During that period itself, March, IPL will be launched, and if I'm not wrong, IPL goes on for about 45 to 60 days. So one vertical that I think that the affiliates should focus on is fantasy sports or regulated gaming that allows you to promote anything related to IPL. That can also be watch IPL online. You can tie up with OTTs and promote their content if you can. So yes, IPL is one event. Then see, quarter two is a bit slower, but which is April to June, but that is summers in India. E-com is one space, and appliances is one space because at that point in time, people really look for something like an air conditioner, a cheaper version for air conditioner, maybe summer clothes and all that stuff. So
Right.
that point in time, I would say, is the time of e-commerce. And also during the first quarter, which is January to March, there are also a lot of festivals that go around in different regions. So you can also maybe target something with festivity, but I think that might also become a very difficult task for people who are not from India because it's already difficult for us to understand all the festivals in India. I don't think outside of it anyone would be able to. But I think quarter two would be the rise of e-commerce and appliances. Um, Quarter three, which is July to September, is also introduction to the festive season. One of the biggest festivals around September or October is Diwali. So prepare yourself for that. It's a pan India festival. As Rohit mentioned, people sit down with their friends and family, play a lot of card games and all that stuff. So I would say Rummy is one vertical that becomes super duper hit during that point in time. E-commerce remains stable, so focus on that. And then towards the last quarter of the year, I think winters, again, e-commerce and travel is a big hit. So towards the end of the year, when holiday season starts, travel offers really become huge. Not only flight bookings, but also hotel bookings and all that stuff. So I think focus on that during that point in time. Any which ways throughout the year, there are a lot of verticals that remain constant. E-commerce, travel, investment, finance. So these remain constant throughout the year. So I would say pick one vertical that you're comfortable with. Pick one traffic source that you're comfortable with. Just focus on that for at least about 6 years if you're entering India, because there's a lot to explore. All you have to do is just find your pockets.
Right, 100%. And speaking about travel, actually, Rohit has arrived yesterday here in Cyprus, where our commercial offices are. And speaking of that, it was quite smooth, wasn't it? I mean, in terms of the restrictions, COVID restrictions, and all that, everything has been lifted. Travel is back on, right?
Yes, yes, very much, friends. I mean, there's no much restrictions. Even the visa process is much more simple. So yeah, it's. I think everything is getting back into normal. And I
Travel has
see. I
blown
mean, I
up.
see it's really crowded.
Yeah.
I think we had an issue, right, Gaurav, in Delhi airport.
Yes.
It was
So
so
travel.
crowded that people. I mean, the airport staff couldn't manage the traffic over there inside the airport. I mean,
Oh
I mean,
shit!
you can say it
So
that way. It was so crowded.
not blaming the airport's staff, but the travel has become this year, especially during the last 2 weeks, the travel has been so hectic in India that it has been taking people 2 to 3 hours to get out of immigration. And the center
That's
government has been
crazy,
involved.
yo.
Yeah, the center government has been involved in clearing out that stuff. I was lucky enough when I was coming back from the affiliate conference in Bangkok. I was lucky enough to get out of there in 10 minutes when the center government was involved, but I think it has got messed up again. So the travel vertical,
I,
you can get a hang of it. That airport is jam packed, so you can get a hang of it on how travel is getting back after the pandemic.
Right. But yeah, speaking of travel, we are celebrating New Year's, Christmas, and New Year's every year, and we usually have like really, just big bash of party, and we're bringing everybody from all our offices around the world, and of course, India is representing with Rohit and all the rest of the team. Of course, we are AdTech Holding. PropellerAds is part of the AdTech Holding, with which consists of other companies, right, in the holding, and we have a lot of people coming in, and of course, Gaurav, you're always welcome. Anytime, you're always welcome in our family. Of course, I mean, as I was saying, it's really really great that you have an experience. You have the hands-on experience working in Propeller Ads, but I really appreciate your transparency all the time. I've had an interview with Gaurav probably around a year ago. We talked about different other aspects back then. But really, I really appreciate your transparency, your time, first of all, and rest assured that anything at all that we, as a company, in terms of the insights that you provided, in India, and all the really very insightful information. On behalf of the company, Rohit and myself, we really do appreciate it, and thank you so much. You really do provide such a great value when it comes to the information that you share, especially with advertisers and affiliate marketers, or even newbies that want to join, the affiliate marketing industry, because it is an evergreen industry. It's bulletproof. It has been proven. It has its ups and downs, let's be frank, right? With a lot of verticals and trends, everything fluctuates. Everything goes up, everything comes down. But the beauty of affiliate marketing is definitely the fact that, no matter the seasonality, no matter which period of your life you join or you test it out, and for I don't know, different circumstances. wherever you are, I think affiliate marketing, because it's definitely online, it's digital. You have tons and tons of resources to learn about, affiliate marketing and how to start with it. So again, Gaurav, thank you so much for the time and really for the for the dedication. We were about half an hour late. I was about half an hour late because of a prior meeting that I had. But again, my highest appreciation and of course, please find Gaurav. We will probably put all of your
Yeah,
details, anyways, right? Your social media, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Tinder.
maybe. But I really
Rohit,
appreciate
thank
you
you.
guys.
Oh yeah,
Really
you
appreciate
really
you
want
guys.
that? Fine.
Oh,
Renz,
Really
you're.
having
appreciate
said
you
all
guys
this,
having me.
Thank you so
look,
much.
Renz, I mean, having said all this, I think we should have more sessions. We should have more conversations with Gaurav,
Oh,
get more
definitely.
insights. And let's, I think we should discuss on vertical buys, and like how each vertical performs, and what is it that we can do as affiliate marketers to make sure that the verticals actually perform well, and they get their proper responses from the campaigns that they run. So I think we'll have more sessions like this, and honestly, it was wonderful talking to you. And
If
like
I
we said before, we started our conversation, Delhi food, winters. Dude, I'm a fan of it. I mean, let me see before the winters is over if I can come and like catch up with you, and then just enjoy some of the so discussed food
Yeah,
that we're
if
getting.
I did not have a beard, you could see me blushing. Thank you so much for the appreciation, man.
Yeah.
But I sincerely appreciate you guys having me and having this conversation and giving me the
Thank
opportunity as
you.
well. Yeah.
I think this opens, this opens doors for, I mean, as Rohit said, for future, guestings. We would definitely love to have you every time, no matter what. And of course, I think this also could be a potential article that we would release, because this is a lot. This is a lot of
Yeah.
insights. This is a lot of information. So make sure to tune in to Propeller on Air. This is Renz Gonzales from Propeller Ads. Thank you so much, Gaurav, once more, and really, really appreciate it. Rohit, thank you for joining in. Our country partnership manager in India. We've opened our offices in Bangalore, so that's very, very exciting. We are having more and more people joining the team there. So make sure to tune in. I believe that we will definitely share all the information of both gentlemen that provided a lot of insights today. Gaurav, Rohit, thank you so much once more. Make sure to check out all of our social media.